I'm Emily P. Freeman, and welcome to The Next Right Thing. You're listening to episode 381. This is a podcast about making decisions, but also about making a life. If you struggle with decision fatigue, chronic hesitation, or if you just need a few minutes away from the constant stream of information and the sometimes delightful but distracting hum of entertainment, you're in the right place for discerning your next right thing. I'm an author, a spiritual director, and an occasional workshop leader. I live in North Carolina with my family, and through my work, I've helped thousands of spiritually thoughtful people overcome decision fatigue so that they can discern their next right thing in faith, work, and life. If you missed our last episode in December, there's a chance that you were wondering where the podcast went. We are still here. We're just taking our first extended break in 8 years. 9 years? I'll have to check on the timing. We're experimenting with a seasonal format for podcasting. I'm glad to be back on the mic and to join you back again on Tuesdays to help create a little space for your soul to breathe as you discern your next right thing in love. The season of Lent begins this week, so I welcome you to navigate to the Quiet Collection app as we now have our Lent Collection once again available. I'll say more about that in a little bit, but first, here are 8 things saving my life this winter. I hope you'll listen in. Hi, hello. Okay, first thing is, I missed you. Second, do you like my new mic flag? If you are watching on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. For the listeners, it's just a little branded mic flag that says the next right thing on my microphone. It's super cute. Turned out great. And third, I mentioned this in the intro, but I'll say again, the Quiet Collection app now has the Lent Collection available again. If you got it last year, you still have access to it. But this is your reminder that Lent begins Ash Wednesday tomorrow. So this is a daily reflection that we made last year. And it's the same one as last year for a couple of reasons. One, it's quite long. It companions you all the way from now, all the way till Easter Sunday. That's a full 48 days. And it's also quite good. So there was no reason to redo it this year. It's one that I hope will kind of keep in the rotation for a few years. And so if you didn't get it last year and you want to have a very accessible way to observe the season of Lent this year, then I hope you'll check out the Lent Collection inside the Quiet Collection app. And I will, of course, remind you again at the end of the episode. Well, here are 8 things saving my life this winter. I divided them up a little bit into categories. This first category is in-person experiences. Number 1, the Monks Walk for Peace. Perhaps you have heard about them. If you haven't, then I'll just say briefly, on October 26th, nearly 24 Buddhist monks started walking from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. And the route took them from across 10 states and 2,300 miles. Their goal is to promote peace and compassion. They have 2 stops every day in various towns and cities, one for their daily meal, which is a lunch, and then one to rest. They always sleep on the ground. Well, they came through my very hometown of Greensboro, North Carolina, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day this year. And so a small group of us ventured out to watch them walk along their route. It was quite an adventure. They did change their route last minute, so we had to sort of jump back in our cars and follow the crowd of where they were. We waited several hours, but we ended up seeing them right before the sun went down. They came walking up the hill, several police escorts, a large crowd behind them. Of course, we were standing with a large crowd of people too, and they walked right by us, just 2 feet from where we stood. And I'll tell you, it was over within 30 seconds or so as far as them walking past us. But it was really humbling just to observe not only their dedication to what they believe is important, deeply important, but also to observe how many people came out to share in that experience, and also how quiet it was. I have a video on Instagram that you can scroll down and see if you haven't seen those videos yet. But one of them had said earlier that day, I watched the live stream of their lunchtime talk. He said, "We're walking to Washington, D.C., but D.C. is not the final destination. We will walk for peace for the rest of our lives." So for me, as a curious Quaker, one of the core values, or what they call testimonies of Quakerism, is peace. This is something I've been thinking more and more deeply about, is what does it actually mean to not only believe in the concept of peace, but to embody peace in my daily life, to understand what it means on a regular Tuesday. What does it mean for us as communities globally and also locally? And how does Jesus, the Prince of Peace, show up for me in every decision that I make? So, bearing witness to their dedication was inspiring to me as I considered what it looked like to live out my own faith. A second communal in personal experience for me was skywatching. So, twice this winter so far, John and I have ventured out to see the northern lights, the auroras, in part of our town where the northern sky is visible. One time we sort of saw them, the other time not so much. There was maybe a little pink glow, but it's something I never thought we would be able to do in North Carolina. But because of sun reasons and electromagnetic things, it was possible for us to see these very faintly this year, this winter. And I, as someone who loves to observe the sky, this was quite a gift to me. Another time I watched the sky this winter, this wasn't a communal thing because I was alone, but I sat outside in our backyard during the Geminid meteor shower and I saw two whole shooting stars and I loved it so much. There's something really beautiful about paying intentional attention to things that are quite beyond my control. A third thing saving my life this winter that was an in person experience was a house concert that we hosted for our son. He has a band that is one person, it is him. However, he also linked arms with some other musicians, one of them being his cousin, my nephew, and they practiced for weeks leading up to it and played all of his original, not all of it, but all the songs they played were his original songs that he wrote. And it was so fun to have not just his band there, but also 40 plus college students and then some friends of ours who also came packed into our living room. We do not have a large house, at least not for a concert with 50 people in the room. There were people on the floor, there were people standing up, but it was so lovely to enjoy music, to enjoy one another, and to support these students as they are learning their craft. And I loved it so much. There was a friend of mine leaving, and she was so glad that she came. She's kind of a neighbor, and she said, "We have a living room. Why don't we ever host a house show?" Why, indeed, we need more live music. That's what I say. A fourth thing saving my life this season, I'll do 4 and 5 or 2 TV shows. One is The Pit. Y'all, I'm so glad to watch this live this year. Last year, I found out about it after I had already dropped all the episodes. And so we sort of binge watched. And I don't know, a show at about an emergency room shift is probably not my favorite type of show to binge watch, but we kind of did do that. So now we're kind of watching it as they release every Thursday. And it's been a nice change from from being able to just watch the next episode immediately, kind of a throwback to our childhood. And the second show, I feel like I say this on every What's Saving My Life. It's Survivor. Survivor 50. Hello. So excited about this new season. We're watching with some friends, the premiere, and then we'll watch the finale with them too. And it's the same format of the show, give or take some different changes they do every year, but it's always different people, which makes it so much fun to watch. Number 6, another thing saving my life this season is when John and I reset the house together. We sometimes do this on Sundays, but the whole okay, it's going to be a new week and you change the sheets and you make sure all the dishes are ready for the new week and the laundry. And this time of year, winter is always the light is so beautiful coming through the windows because it's, the sun is lower and we don't have any leaves on our trees. And so, plus, if there's snow on the ground, which there has been this winter, unlike some winters past, it's just brighter outside. And so we often are doing that thing that, I don't know, I feel like in Europe they do it and they call it something cool. And here we call it burping the house, which I dislike, 2 thumbs down. But we do open the windows for, 30 minutes or so and let the cooler air kind of let the house breathe a little bit. And it has been just a small little joy in the midst of a lot of communal grief that I know a lot of people are feeling. To have that fresh air come through the house is sort of symbolic in some ways. So I talk about, creating space for our soul to breathe. And this is one way that we do that physically, creating space and making space for our home to breathe. So that's been a gift and something that we've practiced a lot this season. Number 7, saving my life this winter is journal club. Hello, hello. I started a journal club. You're automatically in it if you are in my paid Substack with the Soul Minimalist Substack. And we use the Next Right Thing guided journal. And it is something I do every year anyway. I'm always using the Next Right Thing guided journal. This is my 6th year using it. And this year I was like, one day in December, I mean, it was literally like I started filling out my journal and I was like, wait a minute, what if I did this with people? I think I would enjoy it more. And it really was not a planned out strategy. I sort of told Mary and Ashley, my 2 team members, about it kind of after the fact, like, hey, we're gonna do a journal club this year. And really we have 3 core values. We keep it low key, we are consistent, and we have fun. And really the only requirement is that you have the Next Right Thing guided journal. You can start at the beginning of any month. You are not behind. And the way to get we do monthly check-ins. So the way to get those monthly check-ins is to be a paid subscriber to the Soul Minimalist. It's $5 a month. You can cancel anytime. And we always offer scholarships to anyone who asks. You do have to ask, but we always say yes because I don't want money to keep anybody out. But that little paywall does help keep it a little bit more community driven. So it's not like on the whole internet. It's just like on the little internet. And so, but I have loved doing journal club. We've so far had, I think, 3 monthly check-ins so far. Those are all on Substack. If you join today or anytime, you can go back and watch those, or you can just jump right in. You're really not behind because it's monthly, so it sort of repeats. So I did one video where I did a check-in with getting it started, like this is how you get it started. And then the next video, the next month, I think January's check-in, I did a little bit of a deep dive into the arrows and how to use those in decision making. So just doing it with other people after having done it alone all these years has been just fun, which is one of the core values, not to make it too complicated. So journal club, saving my life. If you're interested in joining us, check it out at The Soul Minimalist on Substack. That's emilypfreeman.com. Is it emilypfreeman.substack.com? The link is in the show notes. You know where to find it. But that's been a great adventure, small little adventure to do together. Number 8, and finally, something that is saving my life this season is reading. I was in a little bit of a slump at the end of last year, but picked it back up. I've been reading, recently finished Theo of Golden, Strangers by Belle Burden, and I just started Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've heard good things about it, and also it has sky things in it, so I feel like I'm literally on like chapter 1, but I do look forward to reading that one. It's funny though, because I do share what I'm reading in the monthly letter. So if you regularly want to know, hey, I wonder what she's reading right now, or I've gotten good recommendations from her before, you can go to emilypfreeman.com/letter, and we'll send you at the end of every month my free newsletter. I always share what I'm reading currently. But I shared about something I was reading on Substack and in notes, Substack notes, which is basically like the Twitter of Substack. And I said something about how I was reading, and someone commented about how reading is great and all, but the world is on fire. Have you noticed? Implying that, how could we possibly do something as frivolous as reading while the world is on fire? And, this is an age old question. I kind of, you can laugh about it or you can get defensive about that. But the question is a bigger and actually a very important question, which is how can we do anything when terrible things are happening in the world? And this is not an ad, what I'm about to say, but I will say if that's a question that you find yourself asking, I hope that you pre-order Shannon Martin's book. It's not yet out, but it's called Counterweights. And the subtitle is An Essential Practice for Holding Hope in a Heavy World. And really, what the book is, it's sort of her personal journey to answering this question with her life. Because the reality is, terrible things are happening and beauty is all around us. And it's not either or, it is both always. And Shannon talks about how we get it all. And I think this is something that we must reckon with, because nobody wants to move through the world. I don't think it's a healthy way to move through the world, to pretend like the bad things aren't happening and just focus on the good. But I also don't think it's a healthy or generative way to move through the world and focus only on the hard, the difficult. We have to have both. And so I think Shannon is a great, fantastic guide to help us navigate the beautiful when everything is terrible, because we must do both. We can't force toxic positivity. We can engage what brings joy and regulation when we can, so that we can continue to engage the world through things like, we can read and we can enjoy the small things, so that we can then turn and face the world that is struggling. Sometimes it's the world right at our front door, and sometimes it's the wider world around us. So we have to be able to hold both of these things. We must hold both. We can't ignore one for the sake of the other. We get it all. We have to learn how to engage what brings joy and regulation when we can, so that we can continue to engage for the long haul, the difficult things, the injustices, the griefs and longings of life, as we do our next right thing in love. Thanks for listening to episode 381 of The Next Right Thing. I hope this simple practice of naming what's saving your life this season can be just one more rung on the trellis upon which your rhythm of life can continue to grow. Because while it's true this is a podcast about making decisions, the bigger truth is our daily decisions are making our lives. Remember, the Lent Collection is now available inside the Quiet Collection app. It's the same as last year, so if you bought it then, you have access to it. Just go back, navigate your way to it. You might have to update your app, but definitely do that and you can see it there. Ash Wednesday's tomorrow, February 18th, so that will be your day one. But even if you hear this episode at a later date, you can jump in wherever you are, as each day is only a few minutes long, easy to catch up. Come journey with us through the season of Lent as we walk thoughtfully toward Easter Sunday. As always, you can find me online at emilypfreeman.com or Instagram at emilypfreeman. This episode, as always, was edited by the team at Unmutable and organized by Ashley Sherlock. In closing, here's a quote from Shannon's book, Counterweights, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to share this because the book's not out yet, but I'm going to do it because it comes out next month. It's really, really short quote, but it's a good one. Here's what she writes. We have a mandate to joy, not just for our own well-being, but so that we are able to engage in the cause of humanity. When wholeness is our goal, beauty is our emergency. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.